If you're like me, you've wanted to test your might against beings from ancient mythology to see just how strong you really are since you were a wee lad. Titan Quest offered just that nearly 20 years ago, and Grim Lore Games has finally delivered on a sequel for all of us who wanted to kill more mythical creatures in ancient Greece. Explore this Hellenic world from Delphi to Pyrgos to the realm of Moirai in this ARPG sequel for the ages. Gameplay, and a little about the story. You must fight your way through waves of mythical creatures such as giant crabs, griffins, ghosts, and beyond as your former Spartan soldier relearns how strong he is to escape from and then defeat Nemesis, the goddess of retribution. As the titans that once ruled Olympia are long gone, Nemesis has returned to try and rule herself by corrupting the land and punishing you to eternal damnation for Zeus knows why. You'll encounter real fake Greek gods in your quest to fight against her, providing a quest worthy of a hero. This is one of the better stories that you'll get to play for ARPGs, providing a very good middle ground between the constant cutscenes of Diablo 4 and the figure-it-out-yourself attitude of Grim Dawn. I do my reviews relatively spoiler-free, but this is a story well worth your time. Titan Quest was one of the pioneering ARPGs when it released in 2006, allowing the player to mix and match two classes to do different damage types and abilities that work in tandem rather than the classic one-class games such as Diablo and Path of Exile. This innovation continues in the sequel, with Titan Quest providing 4 classes out of this review, with more planned for future updates. Each class has a slew of skills and abilities to choose from, allowing for upwards of 20 different ways to build your class combination. I played as a combo of Earth and Warfare in my playthrough, otherwise known as a Battle Mage. The skill tree is quite robust, with each level up giving you 2 attribute points and mastery points in both active and passive skills. These points can be put into your skills, which upon leveling up you can put modifiers on those skills that increase damage, attack speed, and even change the damage type entirely. Unfortunately, there is no way outside of your skills to change damage types like in Grim Dawn, so you are locked into a couple damage types depending on your class choice. One problem I did find with the class building is that based on your playstyle, you're kind of locked into one weapon type. Ranged is a bow, spells are a staff, and melee is a sword or mace. There isn't really a good way to play around with your weapon types, which was a little frustrating as someone who really enjoys building new classes and figuring out new ways to play the game. The combat really shines in this sequel just as it did in the original game. Every combat encounter is dynamic, providing you with a few different types of enemies that may engage in ranged or melee combat. One thing that is really unique here is that every encounter feels meaningful, as enemies have lots of health and you are slowed down to a more realistic pace when compared to other ARPGs. You have to stop to fight most enemies and must focus on every fight instead of plowing through thousands of worthless cannon fodder enemies. I really enjoy the slower aspect of Titan Quest II, with that snail's pace making for a really unique experience. There are a few bosses in the current iteration, both in the open world for you to find and in set pieces for the more recognizable villains. These bosses provide major loot bonuses on their defeat, and unfortunately, in a game where good loot is hard to come by, you're able to abuse them to get ridiculously powerful gear by doing the boss memories, which instantly respawn the boss. Other than this one aspect, the bosses were all incredibly fun to fight against and provide a decent challenge and an incredibly cinematic battle. Speaking of challenge, this game rarely gives you one, unfortunately. I played this on the hardest difficulty available, which is hardcore. I was able to get through the game without dying, and was only ever close once or twice in my 11-hour playthrough. If you've played other ARPGs like Grim Dawn and Path of Exile, you'll have no problem getting through this, as it comes down to managing your armor and resistances for survival. Newer players may struggle a bit, but one glance at the character screen will tell you everything you need to know about staying alive. Sound, music, and voice. Every skill and every ability hits you with its hang and schlong, from the small spells and arrows to the massive summoned lava fissures. Each time you throw down an attack, you feel that attack hitting as your enemies scream in pain or just melt away. This isn't the absolute best sound design you'll ever come across, but it's definitely up there. Each area has distinct music that fits the vibe of that location, with separate musical numbers coming in during combat and boss fights. This is all really well done and fits into the ancient Greek aesthetic incredibly well. From the almost opera-sounding singing to the use of a lyre, the creators used mostly ancient instruments for their numbers, and it is some of the best music in a video game that I've had the pleasure of experiencing. Grim Lore really went all out in the acting department, finding the best actors that Munich has to offer apparently. Every character delivers their lines as if they're really in the game, and there are a lot more funny moments than I anticipated. My personal favorite is the talking jar that is encountered near the beginning of the playthrough, as its voice actor gives everything he has to insult you as you help free him from the sanctum of the jar. Graphics and art. The combat has some immaculate graphical designs, with everything looking very distinct and unique. It fits in with the ancient Greek mythology, as everything looks better than you could ever hope. As it is an ARPG based around the combat, this isn't going to hang with games like The Witcher or Ghost of Tsushima, but as far as ARPGs go, this has to be the standard for the future. The developers made sure to lead you to overlooks all around Greece to show off their landscapes and graphical improvements from the 2006 release. While there are no weak spots in the graphics, the boss designs absolutely stand out. The first boss is the Griffin, which is gorgeous with its blue and yellow feathers, with some undertones and massive stature, and the boss design only gets better from there. There have been some great boss designs in games past, but these are gorgeous. Performance. As of reviewing, the performance is not where it needs to be for a game that demands $30 from its patrons. I played this on 14900K and RTX 3070 and had some major stability issues, particularly in the safe towns. I got through most of the game with around 40 to 50 FPS, but in towns I would frequently get drops to under 20 no matter how I had my settings and what I changed in the menus. Now that said, I did not have any crashing problems and very few bugs, with the only one major bug being the portal occasionally breaking beyond use for a bit. The relatively bug-free playthrough was a welcome surprise, so if Grimlore can fix the FPS issues, then they have a pretty incredible game on their hands. Final verdict. This is one of the very few games that is going to earn a full price recommendation from me. This is a game in early access, which I usually detest, and I will only ever give a recommendation based on its current state and not on promises of the future. Grimlore has said that there will be more classes and a much longer story, which I am very much looking forward to, but in Titan Quest II's current state, it is more than worth the price for admission. There is about 11 hours worth of content here for a single character, with the potential for much more if you're interested in building classes in different ways. I would like to have seen a slightly longer game, but there is an ending in its current form, though it is a bit of a cliffhanger. This is deserving of $30 at present, and hopefully will return even more on that investment if Grimlore is able to deliver on the promises they've made. I do reviews like this one for the games I play on stream, so check me out on Twitch if you're interested in watching me experience these games. If you liked the review, give it a like, and if you didn't, then give it a dislike. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.